Il vient de nous hommes. Il y a besoin de ken varriga yi ora fu webi. Oti avec bakery ni vi la danse the live video unda we imubo imubo vi no and women able we no important to say aka bo before academy novice koi ise imno bo ya me la dia sha we ronde emihia no isunu wote edu n'ọbaye we ọbanya atọ ọbanya edo ọbanya ki ọbanya emihia nọrọ edo níjẹ̀rẹ̀ tàbí ọ̀nì we gbéva no gbéra ìkún aka mẹ́ Benin Royal Museum ìkún aka runde mi so n'ọga asunu we Germany parliament ụwa n'ọkwa ụwa ge arịọba ọkwa n'ọkwa ge Germany imnoga asunu wani bene imaya kwe iyokugbe ihe ya tieveni aka ya ga enimati artifact neboti artifact oredo bene aka ya ga ihe bene aka ya we imi ya he ya ga ata geni na be send warning to ivie do ya fe we im no sunu ba ya ki akobo kugbe ba ya ki afiobo yakara na do mi egwe iami mai unda egeni a conspiracy na ni makana oswene in the sense where imanibunga are parliament ni no ka egwe my vie imnana my viote but iloki ni maame egeni we ikwe vaga we otu November nọrọ only the foreign minister Anna Baerbock, then the other woman from the Green Party, Miss Ruth, Inya Ivani Mubawa Mwina to make sure where the Benin artifact in Nigeria or Edo, or say it can all serve Edo, not make sure where or say Gwe. If not boom always sunu kegeni ade unda a party nina yagire a government and if not boom ayevi sunu mama expect because even adiobage Germany ye edioge edoye adiobage Germany noro na yambo wemima ise na ta evirioni oyine Ariobage America viye yama mubo huemi ma ise but imanibun idege ogwe amane nonya mi oyowe ya swefo mave no manya o aro de gbe ya swe loka body ye yobehe nage idege oni no tisunu begeni igewe manibun beladia dokun ayo dokawe omakeke binoga iye ego kao miaga sweve be debate ugwano kwa yani Benin Royal Museum abiata we avioete imanibun bivani kaewe niage viene oba ogedo we oge Nigeria no but mabe argue where in Nigeria my sweve geni egena ya vie imna vie na ikenna vie ekwa ogoba ogima ana vie abi ma gbele wa rederio akedo vie imna na ni vie ni ayi vie ni abi ma no ye wulo igbi anaye ya khon na tie rebe rebelling against something. We are not having an oye wulo, having we do not wulo you way. Omakekine ne isagiya ni wulo yoni, omakekine mawa si averioni no jeverioni. Although in my book I where him no soon we know that where a disgrace in him, a humiliation on him. Him and the boom a different view. Him no soon where no Danny or in a Diani. Maybe me a different view or me way. Ikes Kabo is when you only share a video now. Wari mana share a video now. Never money boom idege. They want the boom idege because when they want the boom itaena where it is crazy nonima where ibima ya we ni awu ekenia we enia over there. But hekeni maya oge na nani si no sunu because no nani obedo ame some positive but a positive aspect of it. Imi ya no me positive or me negative. So nado a tie ibiedo enida madam my equality development my equality okay. I don't buy that and I don't support that. Imanibe la diane wuna or mati ewe bona. No we la diane we ka bo no we mi na we wuna. We na we no nia we no deni imikere niki. Awe ma mie no soni ne be mana. Mamati ya enida. Mamati ya eni rokpa. Gbeso abe ikwe ivye we ma we wuna. Aya sa gbiyan aye mi no ke ya gbiyan ronda we yan re wuna. We a party. Okay, kini mamu emedo. Mamu kodao. Ni mamu emewima mamu kodao. Unda we maeme ewowe oteduna okpa mame. Maeme oba behi obakpana mame. Owe no magedo nya. Nokpa no ori owe no ya nya ewowe. Ima dole we ma avere ma no bie ima. Ia dole we ma yi oye boya ade. Wa mo gbiyan ya ade. Ti ame gbe oye ade kini ma yi. Wa me ogbiyan ra ade. Emi ave dege oye mi ni oye ave we emi au we ma ni ma ne hui na we tie edo ubosi mae bosi ma se mae se iya oye awe ni au. Those of you who are not understanding my language, you know what happened in Benin City yesterday. I will not call it a humiliation nor a disgrace, and I will not support such. But there's one thing, there's some positive aspect to be taken out of it, and there are some negative. What have negative also have positive. The positive part of it now, we are talking about this artifact. We are talking about the Benin Royal Museum. The British or the Europeans or the American, they didn't come to Nigeria because they have enough to eat in their countries. They came to our own country because they were hungry. They were hungry, they met people who were more richer, more sophisticated technology than what they were having. And we know how Americans and the Europeans always react to such something because you become automatically a threat to them. And this is what happened. This is what happened to the Edo Empire or the Benin Empire of that period that led to the, I would say, conquering of our own kingdom or our own empire of that period. And there's another aspect of it. We are not just looking. You know, the Europeans and the Americans, they have been playing this card for a very long time. And it is called divide and conquer. And we are not listening to ourselves. We are not learning from our own mistakes. When the British, they were coming to invade Benin City, it took them some time, but that wasn't enough for them. But before then, their capturing already began years before that day. They were using our people against us. They were using our chiefs like Obaseki, Ezomo, and so on against us. People will deny that Ezomo was not a part and party of this. But we know all the chiefs that collide with the British to subdue the Benin Empire. The Benin army in that period was one of the sophisticated army we were having. It was not just that we were having Igwe festival that led to the downfall of Benin, that the soldiers were in their normal barracks and others. We know we were having different barracks, but the separation, the division was already there then, where the Eastern people moved on to the Eastern region, some Edo people who were supposed to defend the city refused to defend the city. The defending of Benin City was left for some few groups of people because of greediness. And this is what we are seeing today. We are seeing the divide and conquer that is going on today. And we should learn some lessons from our past. Our kingdom was not just brought down, our civilization was brought down to zero. You see, the issue of the artifacts. Now, we are having the issue of the museum, which was a very big mistake right from the beginning. Because business and trusting somebody must be divided. Trust yourself in business. Give some percentage of trust to your business partner, but not 100%. This was one of the mistakes. And the people we were sending outside to represent us, they were also one of the biggest problems we are facing, and we are still facing today. Some of them were manipulated into this issue of no return that we're having now. In the discussion in the German parliament, you see, immediately that was confirmed that is some set of artifact that is coming to Benin. We were now seeing different groups that were coming out to start saying they have a share in those artifacts. We were seeing some black groups from America. We were seeing some Germans who were protesting not to return those artifacts. The British Museum were now colliding with those groups. And that period when the first artifact was uh, returned to the Oba of Benin, I was in one of the Caribbean country. We also had this discussion about the Benin artifact, you know. And many of these people are so misinformed there was a campaign from the German side of it to inform everybody that this artifact is so connected with the slave trade that uh, the slave people also own a share out of this artifact. I was there trying to explain to everybody that was there that that is not correct, that this is a misinformation. But it's not easy to convince people to understand what is going on because these people, they don't have their history because they were told this is your history, this is what happened, you know. But I was able to convince some people with the little knowledge of the history I was having, how the British and the Portuguese started what they were doing, how the Benin recognized Portugal, recognized Brazil, and why the Benin Empire was brought down because of the threat the Benin Empire posed to the Western countries. That aside, you see, divide and conquer that was going on that period. They didn't, although everything was silent, but it wasn't silent, it's still going on. Some of our people were paid to lead uh, misinformation. People like Abat Obaze, Uyinosa, and so many other people were brought to this stage to start insulting, misinformation. Have everyone wonder how Abat Obaze get to Britain or wherever he is today? How he managed to have that visa he's having, how he managed to have that apartment he's having today. I think we should ask that question. There are so many things we still don't know that happened, but our investigation will continue and we are going to find so many of them out, fish them out. Yes, this conspiracy of Imowa actually is a conspiracy because, you know, to trust a politician is one thing. And that is where we also made a very, very big mistake. That's the fact. A politician will promise us heaven and earth, and we will believe. We will build the Benin Royal Museum, and it was changing. Then it was now Emowa, changing again to Mowa. So there's something we are not understanding. How come the Oba of Benin was sidelined? How come some of our sons were now colliding with these people when they know they are doing harms to themselves and to us? You see, doing business in Europe is something that is very difficult. Most of our sons and daughters who are involved in business today in Europe are suffering from also this issue. I can tell you, if 50 of our children or of our people start business today, maybe only 5 will survive 2 years, and the rest will still be fighting to survive in the next 10 years. You see, the issue of conquer and divide started immediately to say we will build a museum, we will sponsor a museum. We should have known that no European country, no European country gave you €1 without expecting €50 from you. We should have known that. We should have known better. But our people, they are so sometimes, I will say, not educated, but they don't listen to the few voice that is saying this is not correct, this is not how we should do it. It doesn't mean you are a professor. It doesn't mean you are a doctor. You read economics, you read this. But there are people who know more than you. There are people who didn't even attend universities, who know more than you. So, or didn't even acquire any higher degree that know more than you with experience. It's not what you read in the schools that you practice outside. It's quite different because outside is a different world and school is a different world. Being a professor is different. Being a doctor is different. Without practice, without experience, it's zero. So when this campaign started, we started sleeping. We started sleeping. We shouldn't blame this on COVID or not COVID. We be having time because COVID don't really stop us from not communicating. We're having phones, we're having emails, we're having so many things. We should have pursued it further, even more further. But thank God that the God of our ancestors are not sleeping because they were having a different plan for our artifact as we were having. When they brought out about 45 million euro to build a museum in Edo State, that is one of the area I will not blame Obaseki so much because he himself he was manipulated into this issue. You know, once you accept money from these people, they will now start detecting for you what to do, what not to do. At the forefront, we're seeing this issue of the Benin Royal Museum. Why should the Benin artifact go to King? It was the issue of the day because most of these white people or those Europeans, they are not learned people. They didn't even know how this artifact arrived and where they are today. They didn't know the blood that follows those artifacts, how many people were slaughtered, how many generations we lost because of this artifact. For people to be coming out today to say what happened yesterday is a disgrace, it's a humiliation. No. If you love something, fight with every bit of your heart for it. If these people were not there yesterday in those museums, we will not have the governor standing up to have a meeting with those, they call them diplomats. We will not have those diplomats going to the Benin Palace. We should learn how to raise our voice. But sometimes there are things that need to be handled differently. I don't support the violence and I don't encourage anybody to incite violence. Let us start. Because people talk, oh, disgrace, this humiliation, this and that. We know people who have lived long in some of these European nations, we explain to you what is really going on. Have seen houses burned down because there's a refugee from Africa in those houses. I've seen people being killed because they are from Africa. We have seen they are refusing to rescue our people in the sea or in the ocean because they are black people. So when you don't fight for what belongs to you, who will then fight for you? And now we are having the issue divided Edo people that doesn't really understand the implications of everything we do. If we feel unconcerned because it's not our father property, tomorrow it will happen to you. And there's nobody who will join you to fight. If Buhari, former President Buhari of blessed memory, can pick up a pen to say, no, I will not allow this to happen to Edo people, with the pleading of our Oba, who am I to stay behind, not to fight for what belongs to us? We are crying, we are marginalized, we are marginalized. We are not even trying to fight the marginalization. We clap hand for everybody. Please, my people, Okpeholo is also a politician like Obaseki. We should be very, very careful how we deal with issues. Okpeholo was promising we will build also the Benin Royal Museum. And today we can see the tactic is also using. I think we should start waking up, otherwise it will be too late before we recognize what is happening. And there are also some legal implications why they cannot just rename that museum to Benin Royal Museum. They will not tell you now. Because you cannot just rename it, you need approval from the government. We have the CAC, we have this, so many of these governmental offices, or I would say, who are responsible for such a thing. We have to pass through the due process so that we will not be having issues later. And we should also learn this. It's not just giving those artifacts to the Benin Royal Museum. We have to rent it out to them. Rent it out. Make sure those artifacts are only there. It's not the property of the Benin Royal Museum. It's the property of the Edo people. The custodian of the Edo people is the Omonoba Edo Kwapolopolo. Because there are so many things we need to be very, very careful about. It's not just fighting and fighting and fighting without thinking. Let us start using our brain. Let us start using our brain and our heart to think. Brain, heart work together. Etin okpara yoku ediowa. Erere okpara yoku ediowa. But iage vaga jo etinve ererima yaga yoku iadiowa. Onda we ianwe na kupe. You see, we the Edo people, we love politics more than ourselves. We put other people. We love other people more than ourselves. We saw what happened during the time of Obaseki. Many people are saying he brought a lot of investment, development to Edo State. But the question is now, who really owns those development that was brought to Edo State? Because nobody will invest in Edo State without without to without to make money. You will only invest to make money. We should also know that. But the question is, what type of investment do we need? Do we need bad investment? Do we need good investment? How do you know what is good for our people? Let us start thinking forward. Let us be looking at everything in a big, brighter picture and see what is going on. Because if you have a picture in your smartphone that is too small, you need to put it on the wall and see, oh, this is there, the other one is there. Why is this hidden? And if you are reading a document, not just only the big letter, read the small letter because these are the most important part of any document. Most of us in Europe learn this in a hard way. When read the document, read the small letters. And this is what is going on today. Obaseki was only trying to maneuver his way out of his own mistakes he made. And to, to contain that mistake, Aswin Godaro was brought forward to make sure those secrets never leak. And I can assure you, if we have Aswin Ighodalo today, the Benin Royal Museum will not stand in 12 years. What we saw yesterday would have been the beginning. I myself, I don't trust Okpeholo. I don't trust any political person, any politician, because they are party dancer. Where the music is sweet, this is where you will find them. Where there is food to eat, this is where you find them. You see, we should start thinking very fast because Okpeholo is also not dancing. He's dancing, doing one thing or the other. He said the other time, I will build the Benin Royal Museum for the palace. We are still waiting for that. And now it's changing. It's smart now. You know, how can you will now depend on those people to be controlling the Edo affair, to be detecting for the Edo people? Edo people had or has well-educated people and not well-educated people who has brain to think. Just shouting is a disgrace, is that, is this. That doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help anybody. I am saying let us do the best out of it, what we are having now. We have the chance to tell the whole world why we are Edo people. But don't forget, any success without fight is almost impossible. Success is achieved with hard labor, with fight. If you are listening to Fela Anikula Pokiti with sorrow and so on, as he said. But one thing that is more important for me now is the way the Oba of Benin positioned himself. The way he's fighting, tirelessly fighting, like a lion, to say, this is what belongs to us. Let it belongs to us. What many people are not seeing in Mowa is they saw museum, they saw a beautiful building. They say, okay, this is a good investment. Then what happened later? If those artifacts are stored in Mowa, does not even belongs to us. That means we are giving them the artifact as gift. And that is one of the reasons, because Imowa is closing down, those artifacts will be auctioned to other places. That means the whole investment or the whole cry or the fight we fought will be in vain. And it's only wise to lease these artifacts to the Benin Royal Museum, even though it's called Benin Royal Museum. We should not give the ownership of those artifacts out. It should be leased there so that people will see it. It should be owned by NGOs, but let the Benin people tell their history. There's nobody who can tell your history more than yourself. And that is another very important aspect of it. Managing director could be another person, but let the Benin people tell their history. Let the Benin people tell their story themselves. That is another very, very important. If you go to the British Museum, see the British people who are telling their history. If you go to the German Museum, the same. Come to Austria Museum, the same. Go to France, the same. So those people saying humiliation, I don't see anything humiliating there. Fighting for a good cause is something we should be doing. And that is why Nigeria is not also moving forward today, because we refuse to fight for a good cause. We shout day in and day out, this government is bad, this government is corrupt. We, the citizens, we are even more worst. Some of our adult sons and daughters are more worst than the foreigners. We call foreigners because they don't use their brain. If any political party is coming, you now see them dancing on the street, shouting here and there. But the day after tomorrow, we see them coming, oh, this one is bad. This one is bad. In the second term of Obaseki, people like me stand out to say no. We can see the sign, what is coming. But people were making enemy with us because we try to caution them. We saw when the Fulani herdsmen were killing our people in the farm, that our people were no longer going to the farm. When we were calling on Obaseki, calling his people to help our people out, they refused. It was people like me who were calling all our vigilantes, no matter where they were, to come out to defend Edo land. And they give their best with the little they were having. These are the patriotic sons. Not you sitting in your office with your pen, writing articles in the newspaper. How does that help our people? Shouting in Facebook. How does that help our people? Shouting in Instagram. Shouting in TikTok. How does that help our people? Our patriotic sons and daughters are those people who stand their ground to say, no, we will not tolerate this any longer. We will not allow this to happen to us again. Okay, just look at yesterday. In that museum, we have the foreign investors. Where are the African investors? Where are the Benin investors? They were no place to be found. We should start thinking for ourselves, not thinking for the people, not thinking what people will say about us. Nobody is perfect. No country is perfect. The Nigerians that are living in America today, they will tell you a story. Those of them who are illegal there, they will tell you a story of what is happening to them today, how they feel like today. Those of them in Europe, they will tell you the same. It's only when we build our home that our brothers and sisters will not be suffering such. In Kuwait, in Dubai, all those areas, they saw the need to develop their country. Edo State is bigger than Gambia. Landmass, population, we triple them, even more than. We triple Jamaica, we triple Haiti, we triple so many of these people, countries. Luxembourg, Switzerland, so many countries in Europe, which Edo State is bigger than. They survive. They don't depend on any other country to survive. We are too dependent. That is why we're having so many problems. We will say, let the white man come and do it. Why can't we do it ourselves? Why can't we be the man in our own house? Even though we are building that museum with bamboo, let us build it with bamboo. If we are building it with ekpogo, let us build it with ekpogo. In Mali, the Dogos, they still build their museum today as they are building their houses. Why must we build our museum to tap type with millions spent for nothing? Millions we cannot account for. You see, the Chinese today, they still build with bamboo, with ekpokoro, but we feel ashamed to build with ekpokoro. We refuse to build with our own mud we're having. Awaken, the Benin War, it cannot buy higher boy, is still existing. Why must we be relying on the architecture of the white man to build our museum when we also have the brain? If we can create the artifact, we can as well create a museum. We doesn't need any foreigner to do it for us. It's out of laziness. We are too dependent, and that's one of the reasons we are suffering what we are suffering today. A German will not come to Nigeria to carry an expatriate to come to Germany to build a museum for them. Austria will not come to Edo State to carry an expatriate to build a museum for them. They do it with what they have. Why can't we do our own with what we have? Ekenoba Obuendo, we can do it ourselves. It's out of laziness, out of independence, we are doing what we are doing. And this is so painful sometimes. We are crying for the artifacts our forefather created. What have we done? Do we deserve it? Yes, we deserve it. But what are we doing out of it? How are we managing it? Anyway, it's what I have to say today. Please stop condemning Edo State. Stop putting Edo State in the light of humiliation, as you people are saying. I don't see anything humiliating there. Fight for what belongs to you. Stand your ground. The Europeans will also stand their ground. We can see what the British are doing today. They are not releasing the artifact to Edo. They are standing their ground. We need to stand our own ground too. And lest I forget, let me also put this. Those of you saying the Americans should come and repair Nigeria, I can assure you, if America enter Nigeria today, the first place they are going to is the Benin Royal Museum to collect the artifact. That is for sure. This is what happened in Syria, what happened in Iraq, what happened in Afghanistan, and other places, because this is what they need, and they will come and take it. So thank you for joining me, and I appreciate it. Okay, bye bye. Have a great day.